Yeah, so you would just prefer a more fit, like if he were to be Scrooge's rival and go on these dangerous adventures that could get him killed, you would just prefer he's like Scrooge, like okay, he's more fit and uh he's more fit for the job. Yeah, so then we basically see where Glomgold hires all of these people to pretty much go after the Jewel of Atlantis, and some of these people are let me see if I can remember their names. Roxanne Flartley, um, or yeah, Flartley. There's also this character called Gabby McStabberson, like if you get the pun there, and then Bentley Buzzard. So some of these, so basically these are just assassins. These are just your typical assassins that are hired by Glomgold, and Donald is roped in with them, and he wants to steal the Jewel of Atlantis for himself. So then we cut back to Team Maduck, and they're in the submarine, and Scrooge even asks Launchpad, "Have you ever piloted a submarine?" And he says, "No, but I flew a plane into the ocean." It's basically the same thing. So yes, so again, it all goes back to what we said. I love on how Launchpad isn't just the stereotypical pilot. He does do he does operate more travel. He's more he has more variety in terms of travel. So I do like on how he's now piloting a submarine, which is something I never thought I would see Launchpad do. I think he just piloted a boat. I don't ever remember him piloting a submarine, but I do remember he did pilot a boat. Exactly. Yes, and then we see that okay, so so yeah, Scrooge is happy he's back doing adventures, and then we see Huey who's excited to be on there. He's passing out T-shirts, doing bingo, and he has tunes, and um, he's basically just excited. He's excited to finally be on these adventures, and then we see Dewey is also excited because he wants to help out Scrooge. He wants to prove himself, and Scrooge says, "You know what? No, you can just watch a pro do this." And we also see that. Oh, and beforehand, we also did see that Scrooge and Donald did talk, and he was convincing him that, yeah, don't worry, everything's fine. We got a pretty low key day planned, and we even see that Webby is having trouble telling her grandma, Mrs. Beakley, that where she is. And Louis says, "You got to learn how to lie because that's irresponsible." And he does got a point. He has a point. Like, you can't just tell her. You cannot just walk out and not tell her where you're going. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, again, when we actually get to talking about the characters, because in the original they in the original show, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were just one character. They were the same character. So I do like on how, okay, yeah. So Louis is going to be the laid back one. He's going to be the one that goes with the flow and all that. So yeah, him. Yeah, Louis. Dewey, the blue one, is the more adventurous one, and Huey is, he's a Boy Scout, literally. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so then we continue on where, okay, so we actually see that, okay, they're trying to plot a course for how to get to Atlantis, and throughout this, they basically they do plot a course, and we see that, okay, so just follow this, and it's going to take 16 hours for us to get to Atlantis, and of course, everyone is not happy about that, but Huey decides, okay, play some tunes. So then we get a montage of them going, just driving to Atlantis. Like they're pretty much trying to get to Atlantis, and Dewey gets finally fed up with it, and he decides, okay, well, let me help. Like, let me find a shortcut. And Scrooge is like, no, well, no, we'll continue going the way we're going. And then Dewey, out of nowhere, when Scrooge McDuck turns away, he takes the map and he replots a course straight ahead, which again, Scrooge tells us that's not a good idea. And then we get to see them get into some hilarious disasters. Like they get struck by lightning, they get held by an octopus, yes, sea monsters. So yeah, exactly, yeah. So then basically they figure out a way to get through all of that, and they have to make a pit stop because the bathroom has been occupied by a sea monster. I cartoon for the purposes of cartoon convenience, I guess, because they're able to see. Oh yeah, Scrooge is there, and Donald even sees his nephews with them, and he even says, "I'm gonna kill him," but not in the way that Flintheart thinks he says it. So yeah, so they basically triangulate their position, their submarine's position, and then they follow them. So then, oh, sorry. Yes, exactly. So, yes, exactly. And then we, yeah, and then we basically see, okay, so they finally get to Atlantis, and then they see it's upside down, and then they dock. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So yes, basically we see they finally dock and they look at the map for this place, and Scrooge pretty much tells us to make this as short as possible. That because of the structure and how it was gyro-sized, the whole place they couldn't find a proper way to support it to keep it up, so it went upside down. So that is why the pyramid for Atlantis is upside down, because they didn't have a way to support it back then. So yeah, they all go in there and they're being followed by Flintheart Glomgold, all of his all of his team, and we even see that one of them, McStabison, tries to kill Launchpad, but then thanks to Donald, who saves him, he pretty much says, "No, wait! If we kill them, we can't torture them." And Glomgold's like, "Brilliant idea! I want to shove this crystal down his throat." So they decide, okay, we're just gonna follow them. So then, basically, we also see that once again Dewey decides to be an idiot and go rushing in head first when Uncle Scrooge says it's dangerous and filled with death traps. And then we find out that yeah, the death traps are upside down. So Dewey is disappointed that he doesn't get to be daring, I guess. Yeah, exactly. So then we see snakes come out and they get on Launchpad, and he's infected with Venom Snake, or Snake Venom, I should say. And that's a good question. Again, I guess you could say deadly trap convenience on how they were able to survive for that long. Yeah, but yeah, so anyway, we also then we see that okay, we pretty much see that Donald has to go to the bathroom, and he goes into this room which looks harmless enough, but then we see that okay, Uncle Scrooge and Dewey discover this bridge, and there's a bunch of lasers, and he even warns Dewey. Even the word "death trap" still has the word "death" in it, so he pretty much tells him we got to find another way around. And Dewey thinks it's a challenge, and Uncle Scrooge keeps telling him that is not a challenge, and Dewey just rushes in, being cocky and dancing through the lasers, and Donald has to get a shield to prevent the fire from actually going up to hit him. Yes. Exactly, I know, poor Donald. So yes, it is. And then we see that, okay, Dewey made it, and he's pretty much telling Scrooge, beat that. And then Scrooge decides, okay. So he runs and jumps and swings across on a wire with his cane and does an awesome flip. And again, this is something we never saw Scrooge do in the original because Scrooge was never this acrobatic, as far as I can remember. So, yes, Dewey's pretty much saying, okay, yeah, sure, if you want to do it the easy way. And then they're fighting over Dewey being kind of reckless, and Donald is trying to keep the fire from hitting him as long as he can. And then finally, Dewey moves, and the fire destroys the bridge. So the rest of the team have to find another way out. And then Glomgold says, "Oh, congratulations, Donald! You found us a shortcut right to the treasure." So they beat them there first, and we finally see Scrooge and Lick. We finally see Scrooge and Dewey meet up with them, and pretty much this is where everyone collides. And also, Scrooge is kind of surprised, saying, "Wait a minute, your new job is working for my sworn enemy?" And Donald's even saying, "You brought the boys here?" So yeah, everyone's colliding, and then we find out that Glomgold knew that Donald was related to Scrooge, and he's just been using him as a hostage. Yes, I am too. So then we see that they Glomgold takes Donald hostage, and he takes what he thinks is the jewel away, and the water pressure activates, and they're about to be flooded. And of course, Glomgold says, "Enjoy being the richest duck in the world for the next 5 minutes." And then they're basically just panicking, trying to find a way out. And Donald is getting mad at Scrooge, saying, "This is just like that adventure all over again." And then no, it's all right. And so yeah, and we also see that while this is going on, the rest of Team Duck encounters the assassins, and they're fighting them off. And we also get to see Webby beforehand. She's calling her grandma, telling her she's at a friend's house. Her friend's name is Seabagal, or Submergal, or I can't remember what the specific name was, but okay, yeah, and she even says there. Oh, here comes her Swedish uncle, and Launchpad all of a sudden grabs the phone and starts talking Swedish. So yeah, so it's funny, and again, it's just a sign on how funny Launchpad is in this series. Yeah, yeah, and then we finally see that okay, so Scrooge, Donald, and Dewey are reconciling. Dewey saying it's my fault. He was trying to keep me safe. I should have listened to him. But then he wonders, just like, wait a minute, why would the real treasure? Why would the jewel be down here if it was meant to be upside down on the right side up? And yes, and then Scrooge says, go on," and then they look up, and the thing that's glowing, it's the real jewel. So pretty much, Dewey says, "Okay, Uncle Donald, you've got to let go." And Donald's like, "What do you expect me to do? Trust you?" And he's like, "Yes, please." And he lets go. They all swim up to get the jewel. It turns off the power in the temple, and then they're getting ready to escape with it, and then Glomgold upside. Yes. Yes, and this one gem has been powering the temple for I guess thousands of years, so it does have a clean source of energy. So Glomgold decides he's going to trap Scrooge and everyone else in with him, even after his own assassins say, "But I thought you said employees were the greatest treasure of all." And Glomgold says, "Treasure is the greatest treasure of all. Why do you think it's called treasure?" So he buries them and everyone's got to rush to get out, and even the assassins ask Donald, can they bum a ride with him? So they all get out fine, just barely. Then they go back to Duckburg, and we see Glomgold being Glomgold. He thinks he's found this real treasure, and then Scrooge shows up, and the press is like, "Oh my gosh, is that Scrooge McDuck? He's back!" And Scrooge says, "This is the real jewel." And he also points out it could power the city for 50 years. Yeah, I would, yeah, yeah, so yeah, which would make sense because I mean, this thing could power a temple because a temple had limited sources of technology, where nowadays a whole city has millions of citizens and technologies. So it does make sense when he said 50 years because, yeah, given today's ecosystem, it makes sense. So yeah, so pretty much, Scrooge even the press even asks him, well, what about that other one that Glomgold has? And he's like, oh, that's nice, but it's obviously cursed. And Glomgold's like, no, it's not. And then an octopus grabs him and takes him away. Yeah, yes, a kraken. A kraken comes, takes him away, and of course he says, "I'll be back," which he will be. He's not going. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, it didn't look cursed. For all it looked like a regular jewel, but I don't know. That is weird. So it pretty much ends where okay, so they're all reconciling. Like even Mrs. Beakley finds out. She even said, "I knew that you were lying." So yeah, and but she says, well, you're safer with Scrooge than you are with me, so I'll let you go with him on all the adventures you want as long as you don't lie to me again. And Donald and Scrooge finally reconcile, and Donald's okay with the boy spending time with him, but just every once in a while. Then their boat blows up because Dewey left the engine up. Dewey left the engine on all day. So now they need a place to live, and of course, Scrooge says, I may have a few dozen bedrooms to spare. So, yeah, so it pretty much ends where everyone's happy, and the reporter says, well, Scrooge McDuck is back, rewriting history to solve mysteries and rewrite history, which, yes, and then we see that everyone's happy at Scrooge's house. Donald gets his boat moved to the pool, which why would you put a boat in the pool? Which I don't understand that, but whatever. And then Dewey's putting some stuff away. He looks at the painting again, but he pulls up the page and he sees it's his mother. Yes, yeah. So it's good. Yeah. So No, it's all right. Yeah, I agree. Like Donald's, like what happened to their mother is going to be the big mystery of the season. Yes, it is, and oh my goodness, and that was Ducktales. Woo hoo! The first episode, first and second episode, and it's like we said. I mean, holy shit, Ducktales is back and better than ever. And honestly, I couldn't find a single thing that was wrong with this. And what I and even though I wouldn't say it's better than the first, at least, but I will say, like, oh my god, yes, like it does. It definitely is on the levels of of the original show, and it may surpass it. It may not. We just have to wait and see. But oh my god, in this first premiere episode, it was damn good. Yeah, it had a perfect pace to it. Like it's crazy on how the next and the first and second episode blend so well together into a premiere movie because seriously, I mean, these are just two episodes and the pacing for them is amazing. Like the pacing in the original was never this good. Like if you watch the first two episodes of because if you watch the original 5 part DuckTales, like it had to be drawn out in 5 parts. But this one does it in just two, which is damn good. So yes, I and again, I this is how Disney does their shows. Like their other shows have followed this. So I am glad that okay, they gave the same treatment to this show. So again, it's very awesome that we got a well-paced, well action-packed, funny, and just overall amazing premiere. Like I literally can't say anything bad about it, and I know OG fans will not like this because it's not their DuckTales. But see, that's the thing. We're OG DuckTale fans, and we can tell you that, yeah, we're OG DuckTale fans, and we'll tell you that, yeah, this is a great. This doesn't just honor the original. It pretty much it's great on its own. Like it is. It's great on its own. And what I also like about this new one, it's going to be more about the comics. Like it's not going to rip off and take elements from the original. No, it's going to be more about the comics. So we're going to see some of the popular comic book storylines come to life, which I like. Yeah. Yes, and if the entire season can retain the quality that these first two episodes did, I honestly think this series deserves it. It very much has earned its second season because Disney has already renewed it for a second season, so it is going to continue. So I really am looking forward to seeing the rest. Although it does kind of suck that we have to wait till September to get more episodes, but until then, I'm just going to keep watching these two episodes over and over again. Yes, September 23rd is when we're going to get all new episodes, which I hate it when Disney does that. No, it's not, and like I said, it does show that okay, you know, if enough people like this, then that shows that they're patient enough to wait an extra month to continue watching. So it is a smart move, but on Disney's behalf. But I just find it kind of a pain because I want more of this, but we have to. Yeah, yes, exactly. And again, the voice acting was amazing. All of the voice actors do an amazing job. Like David Tennant has very much earned the mantle to take over as Scrooge McDuck, and because again, he's actually Scottish, but you can actually tell he put he wasn't just playing David Tennant. He really was playing Scrooge McDuck, and I do like on how he acts like the grumpy uncle, but he also has that spirit to him, so he's not he's more than just an angry Scottish duck. Exactly, yes, and that is very well good. And of course, nobody can replace Alan Young, the original, but I think like David Tennant has more than earned the right to play Scrooge McDuck for the next 10 or 20 years, as long as this show is going. So he's definitely earned it. He did an amazing job. The voice actors, of course, Ben Schwartz, Dave. I can barely remember their names. Ben Schwartz, Danny Pudi, and Bobby Moynihan, they did an amazing job as the triplets. Like, I was like that too. But again, like after hearing them and having them, and they all honestly, the more I watched this, I actually they all sounded so much alike. So it almost sounded like the actors themselves were brothers. So they really retained that. And again, I can say that the new triplets are better than the old ones because the original Huey, Dewey, and Louie, they were just one character. They wore the same outfits, they had the same. They were voiced by the same actress who played um who played. No, sorry. Yeah, the original actress who played Huey, Dewey, and Louie. It was just one person, so it was, and even the original show made fun of it from time to time on how they look so much alike, so it's hard to tell. They don't really have much personality, but the new triplets, each one of them has their own unique individual personality that sticks out, and I can't wait to see how they're gonna be in the rest of this series. Yeah, Hufert or Deward. Yeah, yes, and Webby was beyond amazing. Like she is, yes, like because in the '90s, because in the old show she was just the girl stereotype. She was the innocent one who had a doll, and she had to be rescued so many times. This Webby actually has a personality and actually has a unique character, and it may be a modern stereotype, but it's a stereotype that I think fits. Yeah, so it fits, and of course Beck Bennett as Launchpad. He did an amazing job as Launchpad. Yes, it is, and Beck Bennett is actually he might as well be the real life Launchpad because he fits the character so well. So he really although I am kind of a little I was wanting more Launchpad, but that's the beauty of Wait of this new series. We get to see more of Launchpad. So yes, and the rest of the cast of course did an amazing job. I honestly am just stunned on how good this is. So yes, I mean if I had to rate this, I would just give it a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, I could not find any flaws with it. The animation was amazing, and the voice acting was good. Like everything in this was just good. Yes, I do too. And yeah, and like I said, it may be flash animation, but it's the good kind of flash animation. It's not like Teen Titans Go's flash animation. This is this is more of the style of MLP's flash animation. So again, it's very good and it gets the job right. But I'm not gonna lie, I would have liked to see this in hand drawn myself. Yes, it does. Like the animation is stunning and I just can't wait to see it. I just can't wait to see more of this. As do I, and I we can finally say DuckTales the DuckTales is in good hands. Like this reboot does it justice. It does the original justice, but it also does the comics justice. And also what I love about this show isn't just made by corporate people. It's not just made by the corporate suit people. It is actually made by fans who grew up with DuckTales like we did. So that really makes me happy that it's made by fans and it's made for fans. So I like that. And honestly, all I got to say is I really think Cartoon Network needs to take lessons from Disney XD. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I can't wait for the next episode. I Even though it does suck, we got to wait till September, but you know, I'm patient. I'm just like an anime freak. I'm patient myself. Yes, very brilliant. Thank you so much. And yes, again, it was great being here, and I hope the fans enjoy. Let us know if you enjoyed this new Ducktales. Like, even if you don't like it, just I'd say give it a chance, but try and be civil in the comments. Yes, and even if you took it, even if this was to stand on its own, it's still a good original show. Yep. Yep. Um, other than that, thanks for having me, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, this is Richard Core Kenobi saying, "May the Force be with you all." Oh man, that was fun.
Thank you guys for watching, and if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And if you guys want to follow me on my social medias, I'm on minds.com, Twitch, Dailymotion, and Hatron, Reddit, BitChute, aka the new YouTube, DeviantArt, Discord, VidMe, Gab, Twitter, Tumblr, Patreon, GoFundMe, PayPal, and my other social medias are down there in the description box below, so if you want to go and check them out, please do. And don't forget to subscribe and share this video. And please go and check out my new skeptic channel, Gypsy Freak. It's also down there in the description box below. Peace out.